Okay, so I know there's been a bit of anticipation of what next after what happened in the county assemblies. So our statement is titled "The Punguza Mizigo Constitutional Referendum. What next?" So, in compliance with the provisions of Article 257 of our Constitution of Kenya 2010, all the 47 county assemblies have returned their verdict on the Punguza Mizigo Constitutional Referendum call, with 2 approving it and 45 rejecting the bill. The big question today, and in the minds of many Kenyans, especially those who supported the bill, is what next? What is the next steps? These questions remains pertinent because despite the decision of the majority of county assemblies, which decision, by the way, we welcome and respect, the need for Punguza Mizigo in Kenya is still a necessity and is very popular on the ground. The majority of Kenyans still hope that they will have a chance to vote on the bill directly. And this is one of the things that they really kept on asking us. I wish we were able to vote directly on this bill. So the need for Punguza Mizigo in Kenya is still very urgent. This has therefore forced our party to retreat and to rethink of our next move on behalf of millions of Kenyans who are still shouldering the heavier burden of governance, including the ever-ballooning national debt that currently stands at about 6 trillion Kenya shillings. But we wanted to address a couple of issues. The first is just a reflection of the Punguza Mizigo journey. It is fair to say that the Punguza Mizigo Phase 1 journey has come to a conclusive end with the decision of a majority of county assemblies. While we were determined to ensure that our constitution is amended in order to strengthen devolution, annihilate theft of public resources, reduce wage bill, among other progressive issues, the end result has proved otherwise. However, and despite a few challenges, the Punguza Mizigo referendum call has been very successful in many ways. In fact, Punguza Mizigo referendum call is the only mega public initiative that has not been marred with violence, besides being demeaned and belittled by a few cynics who think that public policy is about them and their interests. We initiated the just ended process in utmost good faith. We had in mind, as we always do, the interests of the Kenyan people and our beloved country. We wanted to speed up the development of our country when we proposed to adopt the word as the primary unit of accelerating development, so that we are in order to achieve real and meaningful inclusivity. We believe that if we were to take services to each and every ward in our country, we will bring inclusivity in our country. Everybody will be equal. It will lessen the political tension that we repeatedly go through during elections, and nobody will care who the leaders in this country will be, whether it's from a tribal perspective or otherwise. But it is unfortunate that some well-known political charlatans saw our noble cause as political competition. Indeed, we have now come to terms with the fact that political jealousy in our country is real. We are now emboldened more than ever. We believe that we have emerged in this process more victorious in the political history of our country. We further wish to address the following issues. First, we want to express our gratitude to Kenyans. The Punguza Mizigo journey could not have succeeded without the support of our fellow Kenyans. We wish to unreservedly acknowledge the role of the following individuals and groups that made this initiative the greatest constitutional debate after the COK 2010. The over 1.2 million registered voters that endorsed the bill as required by the Constitution, we thank them. The over 1,000 volunteers that helped collect the signatures, again, we thank them. The professional conduct of the IEBC, right from when they received this bill on the 28th of February this year, the verification exercise they did, they conducted above board, their report, we thank IEBC. All Kenyans who made financial contribution to support the initiative, we are very grateful to them. We also thank all Kenyans who supported this initiative on various fora that include, and not limited to, TV and radio shows, social media, word of mouth, and any other avenues that they used. We also thank all county assemblies that hosted us to explain the bill to them. They were very gracious enough, some of them, to actually come out of recess and hold a special sitting of the assembly in order for us to unpackage the bill for them. So we are forever grateful. We also thank all those county assemblies that objectively debated the contents of the bill. And like I said, we also thank those who rejected this bill for whatever reasons. But we are very much impressed and touched by the decision of Uasin Gishu County Assembly because they clearly came out to say that we chose development and not politics. Turkana County Assembly said we chose this bill because we wanted to end theft of public money. As you all know, that are still issues. In Meru County Assembly, 19 MCAs protested at the interference of their county assembly. We thank them, and up to now, they have even formed a WhatsApp group in which they discuss issues openly. In Muranga County Assembly, we also have the solidarity of 19 MCAs who actually went to us to court, Kirinyaga. They went to court with us to try and compel the county assembly to actually debate the bill and not just throw it on the technicalities. There are many, I could mention, Uasin Gishu, Kisumu, Siaya. We have many MPs who really objectively looked at this bill. MCAs, sorry. So we are very grateful to those county assemblies. But we also want to thank political cynics who lied and misinterpreted the contents of the bill. They consequently triggered the attention of the public to widely read the bill. Their time and empty criticism became part of our building blocks because then they raised curiosity of Kenyans. Why are they opposing this bill? And that actually prompted many Kenyans to read the contents of this bill and understand it. And we also want to thank you members of the fourth estate because you've always covered us whenever we call you, especially those that chose to air and publish truthful and factual representation of the bill in both broadcast and print media. Again, we thank you members of the media, but even more specifically, I really just want to express my own personal appreciation of someone, journalist John Wanyama of Royal Media Services in Eldoret. I saw his objective reporting. Ibrahim Karanja of KTN in Nyeri. I saw his objective Wainaina of NTV. And Handa Siachi of K24, who always followed us and really made sure that this journey of Punguza Mizigo is with the public. So, I mean, we are very grateful to all of you. All Kenyans, and of course you guys who always come here and take these stories to your boardrooms, we are very grateful. We also thank all Kenyans for embracing peace throughout the exercise. The discourse around this bill has demonstrated that Kenyans can engage on issue-based politics without violence. That is the Kenya we envision as a party. We can differ politically, but let's not lose lives. Let's not, fight each other because of difference of ideas. And we have seen in Punguza Mizigo that even those who are opposed to it actually admit certain aspects of this bill are very important. And I'm sure you'll be curious to see what other proponents of constitutional referendum will come up with. So, but we have also asked ourselves the question, what lessons did we learn during this process? Now, the Punguza Mizigo journey has been a great learning experience for both our party members and members of the public. On our part, we have been able to continuously engage the public and their representatives all along, especially on issues that concern members of the public, development-related issues. We've been able to engage, and this has really given us an opportunity to understand the challenges that Kenyans are facing at their villages and why this bill was going to be of greater importance to them, especially in equalizing them. So that has given us hope, even as a political party. And we are really grateful that we started this initiative. It has been the most broad-based consultative process in the 56 years of our country since its independence. And we have also learned that people might look at you as small, but so long as you have a great idea, you believe in it, you can actually initiate and change a conversation in this country. It's also true that, because of Punguza Mizigo, we have actually set a benchmark. Anybody else coming with proposals to amend this constitution will have to do a better bill than ours, or at least they will have to replicate some of the things that we are proposed in this bill. So during the various interactive sessions, especially in county assemblies, the following issues relating to the bill and other grievances that Kenyans have did emerge. Number one, Kenyans raised concerns about the 7-year term presidency, the one-term 7-year presidency. It's an issue we're interested to look into. They also raised concern about the 30 days trial period for the thieves of public money. While our bill was proposing a methodical way of ending theft of public money, including strengthening the offices of the Auditor General, the office of the DPP, Director of Public Prosecution, the DCI, but Kenyans still raised the concern whether 30 days was enough to try thieves of public money. And in our interaction, when we explained to them that methodical approach, they agreed that even lesser days are actually enough to try thieves of public money because of the impact corruption has in our country. They also raised the issue about the effectiveness of the judiciary in the fight against corruption. Kenyans told us to do something about the judiciary, that judiciary today appears not to be accountable, especially individual judicial officers. And they gave us examples of Goldenberg, Triton, NYS1, NYS2, Kimorera and Arrow Dams, that people are arrested, arraigned in court, but that seems to be the end of it. So they said, we now need to shine the spotlight on the judiciary in fighting corruption. They also said that they were concerned about how do we attain gender balance in county assemblies because of the abolition of nominations. So this is a lesson we actually learned. They are also concerned about salaries and benefits of members of the county assembly compared to that of members of parliament and senators. Why does it seem that only those kind of representatives at the national level are the ones who are enjoying the highest perks? They are the ones who increase their salaries if they want. For example, there is a concern about the fact that they don't get a car grant, but they are forced to take a loan on their salary. But MPs do that. They don't get house allowance. They don't get mileage allowance. They don't get sitting allowance. But members of parliament who are also representing the people are actually, getting all these perks. So this is a lesson that we learned. But we also learned that representation at the smaller unit of government is the most effective. MCS told us that you guys are focusing so much on the elected officials in Nairobi, but we are the ones who deal with the people here. We are the ones who know the problem. So again, another lesson that we learned is that if we want to have effective representation, we must go down to the smallest unit. Equality of the vote in National Assembly elections is the other issue that was raised, because some people are saying, and I will demonstrate to you shortly, that why should Lamu and Kiambu meet at the national table as equals? We will try and show you now, and this is a lesson that we learned. Failure to address historical land injustices, especially in coastal counties. When we went to Kwale, for example, Tana River, and Kilifi, this issue of land, historical land injustice came up. And they told us this bill really omitted those very important issues because it's still an eyesore among coastal people. They reminded us about the shelving of the Ndungu Commission report on irregular and illegal allocation of land. They say that's still an issue that if we are not resolving here today, it will forever haunt us Kenyans. Duplication of government functions, undermining of devolved government by the national government is another lesson that we learned. They told us county governments are not able to effectively function because the national government is duplicating functions at the devolved unit. They cited, for example, provincial administration. Why do we need provincial administration replicated in another name, like called county commissioners and all that? They said that's a cost we must actually fix as a country. The creation of unnecessary national government positions against the constitution. They were asking us, chief administrative secretaries, how are they created? Does the constitution allow the creation of such positions and many others? Kenyans also wanted to know why more money is remaining in the national level when services are actually needed at the grassroots. So this is a concern that we encountered. We learned this at the grassroots. So most of those concerns were raised in a majority of the county assemblies that we visited. And we shall engage further with members of the public as we plan to roll out the phase 2 of Punguza Mizigo campaign, which we are now dubbing Punguza Mizigo Kenya, PMK. Now, are there public benefits of Punguza Mizigo bill? People have asked, what are the public benefits of Punguza Mizigo bill? As you all know, the bill aims to address a number of issues, but I'll just mention a couple. One, to annihilate or end the cancer of theft of public money through severe and timely punishment of thieves of public money. When we made that proposal, we actually costed how much money will Kenyans save if they adopted Punguza Mizigo. You all know the saving was coming to 3.78 trillion Kenya shillings. So that's what we have thrown away. And a bill was also aiming to end impunity by barring thieves of public money and other rogue leaders from running for public office. We thought this is the only way we can clean up. We can strengthen the question of integrity. That's why our proposal was to amend Chapter 6, specifically Articles 73, 79, to ensure that people who are tainted do not become our leaders, do not continue to occupy public office, because the Constitution says you must not demean the office that you hold. As a leader who is tainted, who is suspected to be corrupt, still occupying public office, we thought this was laughable as a country that is the only one in the world that has dedicated a whole chapter called Leadership and Integrity. In other words, Kenyans said, after many years of looking for a new constitution, we want a certain type and character of leaders. That's why they gave themselves Chapter 6. So Punguza Mizigo was aiming to actually bar these individuals with tainted characters from running for any public office, because it is an indignation on us as a people. The bill was also aiming to end ethnic violence that is related to presidential re-election politics. And we gave the examples in the bill of 1992 election, 1997 election, 2007 elections, 2017 election. In all those elections where an incumbent was seeking re-election, lives were lost. And we said there is no price to a human life. And the bill was ending that by saying, let's demystify the presidency, because the presidency is not everything. Nobody feeds on the presidency, nobody eats the presidency. The president doesn't pay for our bills, doesn't put food on our table, and we cannot continue losing lives because of presidential election. So that is the aim of the bill. We had also aimed, as this bill, to accelerate development at the ward level to ensure Kenyans enjoy and access public services at their very doorstep. This, in our view, according to the bill, was the fastest way to creating a nation state where all citizens feel equal. The truth for the matter is that, fellow Kenyans, today we are just but a conglomeration of ethnic identities that have found ourselves in a geographical location called Kenya. That's what we are. But when it comes to politics, we become tribal. And we thought if we took services to people's very doorsteps, then we are able to demystify even the use of tribe in our politics, in our public affairs. We are also aiming to enhance inclusivity by devolving significant development funds to the counties and wards. We aimed to spur economic growth at each of the 1,450 wards. We aimed to create conducive environment for businesses' growth and new business opportunities. And we gave the example, if we are going to pump at least 100 million per each and every ward, you can imagine 100 million circulating in all the wards. For example, the 80-something wards here in Nairobi for development purposes. That will definitely spur economic growth, and it will enhance business creation. We are also aiming to enhance gender equality at the national level, where we wanted women to be elected as men, to sit on that table on a 50-50 ratio. And that, we thought, will end the elusive historical gender imbalance. We are also going to achieve the elusive third gender principle in our parliament, which we have never been able to achieve since the advent of this new constitution. We also wanted to demonstrate in this bill the value of representation in the context of equality of the vote. Because as you know, some counties, especially those so-called populous counties, were told to reject this bill because it was not fair that a small county and a larger county, or a county with a bigger population, could actually meet at the national level. And what this bill did, we actually wanted to demonstrate what is this value of representation. we are able to demonstrate to Kenyans that equality of the vote through representation has been a burden on Kenyans. And let me demonstrate this to you. Our proposed model of 2 representatives by county was at time challenged using the Kiambu versus Lamu County representation. However, our informed argument is this, and is this question: what is the value of representation to the ordinary citizen? We use the national debt of about 6 trillion to illustrate this value. Kenya has acquired approximately 4 trillion Kenya shillings in debt in the last 6 years. That means that all members of parliament, irrespective of who they represent, approved that debt to be borne by the people they represent. This means that if you divided the new debt by the estimated population of 50 million Kenyans, each Kenyan citizen was caused to owe a debt of Kenya shillings 80,000, irrespective of the county he or she comes from, whether populous or less populous. Now, for example, a county like Kiambu, with about 2 million people, calculated at 80,000 per person, owes 160 billion Kenya shillings collectively. With Lamu, with a population of about 140,000 people, collectively owes 11.2 billion. Our question therefore remains: what was the role of the 12 members of parliament from Kiambu in shielding their 2 million residents from the debt burden? Did they play a role? They did, because they voted for this debt. Did Kiambu get Kenya shillings 160 billion development funds within the period? The answer is also a resounding no. Then what is the value of representation? How does the so-called equality of the vote translate to value to the citizen? Punguza Mizigo aims to create a nation state where the smallest and the biggest can meet at the national table as equals. That is the nation state we hope to build going forward. And that is the nationhood we had envisioned through this Punguza Mizigo bill. I now go to the second last item of our, which is accounting for donations we have received so far. We promise all those who donated financial assistance to the initiative that we shall publish financial statements of the project in the spirit of accountability. Each penny that was contributed by the public was strictly expended on the project. Our accountants are finalizing that report, and we shall make it public very soon. Now, what is the way forward? Because this is another question that people have asked. What next? So, we wish to notify members of the public that what has just ended is the first phase of the Punguza Mizigo journey. We have also received lots of advice from members of the public who have demanded that we must not abandon this project until it succeeds. We have therefore heeded the public call, and we have now put together a team of legal and technical experts who have already started work on the Punguza Mizigo Phase 2, which we are now calling PMK, Punguza Mizigo Kenya. That will be enriched with the views we collected from the county assemblies and any other new proposal from the public. Most members of the public believe and agree that theft of public money and inequality must be dealt with now and not in the future. Therefore, in a nutshell, we are now opening our doors as the promoters of the next phase of Punguza Mizigo Bill 2. Give us your views, so that people have accused us we never did public participation, even though this bill was actually out there for a whole 1 year. I hope now people can pay attention. You know, when anybody proposes something like this, I hope we can now pay attention, take it serious. We are now reopening our doors again. Kenyans have told us that they are tired, in fact very tired, of the lies and empty rhetorical politics that do not put food on their tables. They are very tired of empty political promises that do not result into jobs or money in their pockets. They are tired of lies that have killed their businesses. As you all know, businesses are closing down, people are being rendered redundant. They are tired of empty promises that Kenya will become better, that the economy is growing. Kenyans want good education for all. They want universal health care and affordable cost of living, amongst other pressing needs. This is what the Punguza Mizigo initiative is all about. These problems still exist among us, and it is for this reason that we have not abandoned Punguza Mizigo. Punguza Mizigo Kenya is a reality we must confront now and not tomorrow. These problems are still there with us today. So, and we are still going now to relook at the first bill, improve it with the comments that we have received from the field, and we shall be able to make an announcement pretty soon on how we can roll out this process. Thank you very much. I will take a couple of questions, if any. Yes, Apollo.
Maybe from your own analysis, what led to the defeat of the bill across the counties? Second, is there something prominent you have observed that Kenyans have raised about Punguza Mzigo, that going forward, you're going to work on it, and maybe how different will the second initiative be?
Well, to your last question, the second initiative will definitely be different, because when we went to the 29 counties, they suggested some areas for inclusion in the bill. So you will expect some differences in the second bill. To your first question, actually, and I do not want to dwell on the past, because us guys are already past that. I think politics played a bigger role. That's why in our statement we say we have come to terms with the reality that political jealousy in Kenya is real. Because as you know, some counties rejected the bill based on technicalities or based on their party positions. So I think it was politics. People saw this as political competition. We did not see it that way. As you can see, we have enumerated to you, and you will see in our statement, some of the benefits of the bill to the people of Kenya. We have also listed to you areas that lessons that we have learned. So Apollo, when you see the full statement, you'll be able to see what will improve in the next bill. Yeah.
And maybe this time you've spoken of some legal minds, some technical teams. Will you involve politicians maybe?
You know, let's not try to make that, you know, like you've seen in the example I've just given about equality of the vote. I think sometimes to isolate politicians as special human beings in this country has been part of our problem. The bill aims to involve all Kenyans, including politicians. All Kenyans. Let's not isolate them. In fact, if you look at some of our problems, Apollo, our problems have mainly been caused by bad political leadership in this country. I've just demonstrated to you the debt that we owe, 6 trillion. That debt was approved in our national parliament by the very, very people representatives. So really, if you want to talk about the problems of this country, it is the politicians. And that's why, for us, as a party, we are actually very grateful that even though we did not have elected officials in all these county assemblies, the bill was debated, regardless of the politics. So I will say our aim is to involve all Kenyans. All Kenyans. And we hope that this time round, people will take serious when anybody actually puts a proposal forward. Because, you know, initially we were ignored. Yeah? We were ignored, but boom, then Punguza Mizigo bill happened, and then it caught them unawares, of course. I hope this time round when Ekuru, Aukot and his team speak, they will take us seriously. Like they took us seriously in actually campaigning against this bill. We were taken seriously. Yes, I think that is it, guys. Thank you so much for coming.